In this video, we're going to go over what types of contests to enter, and this is huge for being consistently profitable with daily fantasy. So there are two main types of contests. Hold on, let me go back. It's very easy to get distracted by the Millionaire Maker type tournaments, these huge GPPs, guaranteed prize pools, and they're very fun to play, and it's very exciting to watch the games during the day and see your points add up. And it can be lucrative at times, but you only want to dedicate a small amount of your bankroll to these types of contests. So your best odds in daily fantasy, if you're familiar with poker, there are cash games, and these are head-to-head games or 50-50. Well, and 50-50s. Those are two different things. Head-to-head is just what it sounds like. It's just you versus one other player. And 50-50s are tournaments of varying size where half the entrants will win close to double the bet. Another version is a double-up where slightly less than half of the field will double their money. So GPPs are the guaranteed prize pools, and these are the larger tournament-style contests where less players are paid out, but the winning players get paid much more. So in most GPPs, it's 10% or less of the field will win money, and everyone else loses their money. So roster construction is very different for cash games and GPPs. For 50-50 and head-to-head rosters, you want to select players who have high floors, meaning that week to week they consistently score a good amount of points. You're not trying to really hit it big with an unknown player, or if a third string running back is going to start for for different reasons, it's probably not the best bet to put him in a cash lineup. So for cash games, you want players that have a high floor, and that's just a measure of consistency, that they consistently score, a good amount of points each week. So this spreadsheet, this is a list of some of the most consistent wide receivers. And floor means this column is showing the percentage of the time that they have scored less than 10 points. So you can see here, Antonio Brown has never scored less than 10 points. Jordy has never scored less than 10 points in a game. Same with Julio, AJ Green, and Lewis Murphy. Consistency is the percentage of games where they've scored over 15 points. So this green, this just shows that Antonio Brown is the most consistent wide receiver. Actually, that's not true. Demarius has had maybe 2 games where he hasn't scored above 10 points, but he's had over half of his games he's scored above 15, and in half of his games he's scored more than 20. So the ceiling column is what shows that. So for cash games, the main thing you want to look at is this floor column. And again, in a future video, I'll show you where to get this information. Deshaun Jackson, on the other hand, he's scored less than 6 points in 43% of his games, and more than 16 in 43% of his games. So he's kind of a boom or bust type player. And again, Antonio Brown, as you can see here, he's just pretty much always a great pick for a cash game. On the other hand, for GPP roster construction, you want players with high upside potential. So like I said, Demarius, now I've got this sorted by the ceiling percentage, the percentage of the time that a player has scored more than 20 points in a game. So again, Antonio Brown's a good bet, Jordy is a good bet, AJ Green and Randall Cobb, it just shows that they pretty consistently have really high scoring games. Pretty much all these guys. Watkins in the games, Golden, Brandon LaFell, Deshaun Jackson. So that's kind of those are the two ways of thinking for the two different types of games. So to recap, for cash games, you want high floor and consistency. You want to be willing to sacrifice upside potential for consistent targets and consistent receptions. You'd rather score 160 points reliably than have the possibility of having 200 points in cash games because, in cash games, if you win, you win. If you're at 160 points, you're going to cash in those games. But if you're at 200, you don't make any more money because they're not tournament games. So you would rather take the higher percent chance of getting to 160 points than the possibility of scoring, more than 160. And the opposite's true for GPPs. You got to think high upside and give looks to players that aren't being targeted by the masses every time.